Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Hello, friends. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the historically famous Impact Power Sports Studio. If you're interested in checking out what they have there at Impact Power Sports, head over to their website, impactpowersportsmi.com, or visit them in their showroom along 14 Mile Road in Rockford, Michigan. If you're interested in a Yamaha golf cart, perhaps a side-by-side, ATV, UTV, e-bike, motorcycle, go-kart, they've got everything you need at Impact Power Sports. I don't know if they sell what our friend Nick the electrician was working on yesterday during the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. It's known as a Bobcat. Like that little type of heavy earth mover, whatever the hell it is. Over at his place, he's got a one of those things. And we started the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast yesterday. And there's Nick. And he was wrenching on this contraption. He's had it for a few years, but he's very, very handy. You know, he's mechanically inclined, and he revealed, I go, hey, what are you doing over there, buddy? He goes, well, I'm replacing this something. It's something to do with the mechanism that makes that thing work. And if he were to have someone do it for him, it would be a very, very expensive job. But he's got that shit covered. And he goes, yeah, I just bought a kit to replace these seals. Instead of several $100s, it's going to cost me $20. And I was like, that's fucking great. I love that when people can fix things like that. It's a hydraulic cylinder rebuild. And he goes, yeah, this one's about 20 years old. It's about as old as a unit. And these seals wear out and you have to replace them. I go, oh, that's fucking cool. So he was feeling good about himself, and I don't blame him. There is something that's really spectacular when a woman or a man can do the old DIY and, you're self-sustaining. You're doing it on your own. You feel good about that. But the poor son of a bitch got that thing replaced, lickety-split, puts it all back together, and fires the bitch up. And he moves one scoop of dirt, and then the motor exploded like a different problem. He was bitching up a storm. It's called a head gasket, which I don't know really what that is. I think that I've heard that described as it's something that happens, and then the next thing you know, you've got oil where the antifreeze goes and antifreeze where the oil goes. And he was just bitching. It was he started the show. He was the first person I talked to. I go, what are you doing? Oh, I'm replacing this. Feel good. Yeah, all right. The show ends. Time for the final word. And he drops that. We're like, oh, no. Fucking poor son of a bitch. Anyway. Hang on. I just got a text. Busy weekend for your old pal EZ. I'm going to head over to Bosco's for a few hours tonight from like 4:30 till about 7:30. Just talked to Dougie. They need some help. Tomorrow, soccer game in the evening. Over at, is it called like the Farmers Insurance Field on the Davenport University campus? Not the big football stadium, but the little one. So if you want to go, pay $12 to get in. 6191 Kraft Avenue. Your Michigan Rangers are taking on FC Milwaukee Torrent. I'll be there, and a staff of thousands will be making sure that the game goes off without a hitch. Nick says it's the gasket between the two halves of the engine. Luckily, spraying out of the motor and not into it. All right, buddy. Well, I don't know what you're going to do with that thing. Believe me, I'm not going to give any advice. I have no idea. Branjo says, all I know is when that goes, your shit is fucked, technically speaking. Ben says, I call my wife's mouth a head gasket. Hi-oh! Okay. Nick will fix it. He'll be fine. Come on now. And then on Sunday, I've got paintball. Our second paintball event in 2 years. Over at TC Paintball. I know the Tarantula Farmer is going to be there with a big crew. The Mexicans and the Hondurans are going to be there, looking over their shoulders, making sure it's not an ice raid. Kuipers will be there. I'm not sure who else, but I think that those two groups are bringing a lot of people. I've got the pizza from BC, and good to go. Today is the last day of school for our beloved Pooh Bear. Another school year has come to an end. So then she's got all of June off, all of July off, part of August off, and then back at it. Now, the way this goes is they have the half day today, and then what they do is they have a end of the school year party, the educators, at somebody's house. And if there's going to be any opportunity for Pooh Bear to get bombed, this is the most plausible scenario on this particular day. Now, I had the task of going to get, it's Diana and several of her teaching friends. I would have to go and pick them up and drive them home as they're bombed in the car. Passed out, drooling, and there I am. Hey, yeah, I'll take care of you. Walking them to the door, handing them off to the husband. Here you go. Here she is. This year, I don't have the task. It's somebody else's turn to do that. So and it's good because I'm booked. And she goes, yeah, you don't have to pick us up. We got somebody else who's coming to pick up. So no big deal. But this was this is like a pool party. Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully nobody drowns. When teachers are done with the school year, they really let it fly. It's really time to party. They party. They're more into the celebration than the kids are. And so they're celebrating. I remember there was one particular time they decided to rent a giant party bus. And somebody shot video of drunken Pooh Bear giving lap dances and grinding on dudes. And somebody sent me the video. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on here? And she was literally, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if these guys got boners. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't bitch too much. I'm like, whatever. You deal with her. We're getting some, I heard from a couple of people. Chris K reached out to me this morning with some news. I guess our pals, Free Beer and Hot Wings, who we reviewed yesterday, and another rip-roaring edition of Who Are These Free Beers? Show number 56, by the way. And, oh, my God, that was a smash reviewing it. It was a mind-numbing job getting the audio ready. But Ben and I had to do the heavy lifting to present that in a 1-hour show. It was actually a little short. I think we were like 46, 47 minutes on that one. Well, anyway, the gang is off to beautiful Cape Cod for a live show. And they had been talking about it. And then Chris informed me that Free Beer did not go. He was back in the studio for some reason. According to Chris, Kelly said it feels less douchey. All right, that's the type of comment that might piss him off. Sure enough, I looked at their webcam, and Tommy is running the board. And then Free Beer is sitting across from him, and I don't know if he's talking during the show or what. I haven't had a chance to review it. But a few people are talking about it. Ben says that the Reddit thread says one segment early on was unlistenable. Now, that's never true. To me, they're always listenable because from my standpoint, because I'm always looking for something that we can park on for Who Are These Free Beers. If you're listening from an audience standpoint, like, hey, I want to enjoy this, yes, you're right. Most of what you hear is actually unlistenable. And I can only guess that it had to be something that came up, like on a personal level, for him to stay there, like something related to his family, which makes sense. That was kind of like the final hour, like as they're getting ready to go out the door, or something developed. Let's see. The magical question segment is making it hard to keep listening, said this person. All right. I'm anxious to hear that. This person wrote, hearing them bomb in real time is the most interested I've been in the show in years. This person says, it's nice. There's more time and room for Kelly, my favorite cast member. Mine, too. Chris says, I thought it was mildly entertaining. It's amazing how much they all talk when Douche King isn't there. And we've talked about that as well. Hot Wings comes to life. Hot Wings comes to life when Greg's not there. And I don't know why that is, but it's not okay. It's never funny, but it definitely is a dynamic that is more interesting to me than the shit that Greg puts together. All right. Welcome in each and every one of you. So glad you are here on this edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast. I want to mention that for the folks that are enjoying the show on Facebook and YouTube, I got 2 free signups yesterday on the Patreon after I got done with this show. Our pal Dana Betts signed up. She's been here the last couple of days. And I had another one. And if those convert to paid in 7 days, I'll be at 239. Now, if I get to 240 on Patreon, that'll be the highest since about February of 2021. So sign up for free, and you can check out Who Are These Free Beers the audio or the video live stream. Sign up for Tier 2 for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. You do have to put in a payment form, but just cancel it right after you sign up, and then you get the 7 days free and don't have to worry about being inadvertently charged, or don't do that. It's up to you. At the end of the 7 days, though, you will be charged if you have not canceled it. I'm hoping that you'll either let it ride or you'll be like, hey, I like this, so I don't want to cancel it. And then you start to enjoy the content. You'll be charged either $5 a month for all the audio, $10 a month for audio, video, live streams. So last night it was, who are these free beers? And the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast featuring Nick's meltdown of his heavy equipment in his backyard. We also get a glimpse of Nick's mom. She was in the background. I think she was like changing oil or something. I think Nick's mom lives on the property in like a one of those shipping containers. patreon.com/Eric Zane. If you want the rest of this show on the free platform, it's on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Go there now and enjoy the rest of the show free. All right. So for you folks that are watching the show on Facebook or YouTube, I'm sending you on your way. Enjoy the rest of your day, but I'd love to see you on Twitch and on Patreon. Oh, one more thing. The audio podcast is always available everywhere, as usual, for free, whatever your favorite platform is. And or I should just say, and if you want to reach out to me via email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Thank you to Shoreliners Striping. Okay. Adam Kasari is the realtor of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast in West Michigan. If you're thinking about selling your home or you're thinking about buying a home, have Adam, the realtor of choice in West Michigan, help you. 616-914-4061. That's 616-914-4061. Speaking of Adam, he races at Berlin Raceway. Racing this weekend. Go to berlinraceway.com. You have until 11:59 tonight to get tickets for $14 for this weekend's races. After that, they go up. berlinraceway.com. Get your tickets. 15 and under is always free. Parking is always free. You can bring in a cooler with all of the goodies that you want to eat or soft drinks. No booze and no glass, please. Berlin Raceway. And a week from Saturday, I will be there. We're going to try this again. Last time we went there, we're planning on going there. It got canceled because of the weather. Racing starts at 6:30 Saturday nights at Berlin Raceway. berlinraceway.com for tickets. When it comes to getting a haircut, I go to King's Room Barbershop. They're awesome. 3 locations, Northland Drive, Caledonia, or at 821 36th Street for King's Room Barbershop. Online at kingsroom.net. Again, 3 locations. Haircut's going to set you back about $19. If you need a little color on the hair, they can do that for you. Beard trimming, beard cleaning, whatever it may be. I don't think they call it beard cleaning, but they'll trim it up for you and make it look great. Haircuts for dudes and chicks who like short hair at King's Room Barbershop. Kingsroom.net for more information. All right, where are we taking this today? First of all, there's we had talked about how Trump is planning. Well, he said that he's going to take a look at the 2 idiots who tried to abduct Whitmer, Governor Whitmer of Michigan. They went ahead and were planning this big, whatever it was, and start some type of fucking war. These Hilljacks here, and they got locked away. They're spending like 25 years in prison. But Trump says he's thinking about pardoning these people. Why? Because he's an idiot. That's why. Trump has been pardoning the people that you don't want pardoned, like people that actually deserve to be in prison. Earlier in the week, he pardoned those two idiots that did the reality show. They bilked people out of millions of dollars, these scumbags. Oh, yeah, you're free to go because they're conservatives. Now these assholes had planned on blowing up bridges around Governor Whitmer's vacation home and then storming the place, capturing her. They had been practicing the plan. They had buying all the artillery, whatever the fuck they needed from FBI agents. It was an open and shut case. They were convicted, of course. And then that's that. Trump visited Michigan a month ago. I don't know if you remember that. And he announced that he is going to keep a Air Force base open. And Whitmer was there, and Whitmer hugged him, and that was a big deal. And these two have been like, there's been a dialogue between them, which, considering the shit that she was saying about him, she was talking a lot of shit during the previous administration of Trump's and had been very, very harsh about him when he was running. Chris says the reality show stars are the Chrisleys, tax evaders, fucking criminals. Well, when President Trump visited, Whitmer was like, I mean, a lot of people were giving her shit because she's established this dialogue with Trump now. Well, Trump announced earlier in the week that he's thinking about pardoning these scumbags. Well, Whitmer has said, well, that's news to me because I just talked with him about it when he was here. And he brought it up. And she said, okay, I understand, but I think that's a bad idea, and here's why. I really hope you do not do that. And according to Whitmer, he said, all right, I'll drop it. And then that was it. So she turns around the next, this week, whatever day that was, and there's dudes saying, oh, yeah, I'm thinking about letting these guys out. I'm thinking they got railroaded. I'm going to take a look at it. I mean, a lot of people from both sides say they got railroaded. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody from one side suggesting that they got railroaded. It's all pretty much people from one side that are saying that he got railroaded. In Michigan and a lot of these Midwest states, you've got these militia types who, they fucking prep. They're waiting for civil unrest. They get hard-ons whenever a black motorist gets killed. These types of scumbags. And they use words like liberty and freedom. They walk around in jumpsuits made from don't tread on me flags. They drive piece of shit trucks with numerous flag pole holders on them so that they can have their fuck Joe Biden flags and shit like that. That's who these guys are. So now Trump is thinking about letting these guys out, and Whitmer's like, well, that's fucking ridiculous. Young Adam Schwab says presidential pardons are dumb. Yeah, and they should not exist. You shouldn't be able to just, with a stroke of a pen, wipe somebody's horrible actions out like that. I did see also, and I didn't talk about this yesterday, that federal courts are now wiping out Trump's tariffs. All of this tariff shit. It seems to me like the courts have more power than Trump. Because this just came out that it's an abuse of power for Trump to exercise all of these tariffs, and he's like, no, it's national security, it's this, that, the other thing, and he's saying he does have the power to do it, but the courts have said, excuse me, hang on. No, you don't. And that's it. So now all this, it was all this talk about tariffs on China and all these other nations, Mexico, Canada. I'm fairly sure that that's the end of that. That it can't go anywhere else. And these are judges that were appointed by the last three administrations. I take it back. These judges were appointed by Obama, Trump, and maybe, I can't forget the third one. It was also a Republican judge. Did you hear that, by the way? Did you hear me struggle by saying Republican? I'm glad I caught that. That's my stutter. I struggle with words like that. Republican, for some reason, you'll hear me struggle with that. And words that begin with M, like particular words, like metamorphosis. That would cause me to stammer. So you just witnessed my stutter right there. Chris says there's a newer update. A higher court reinstated the tariffs. What? Reinstated. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's like every time I turn around, there's an update. Trump tariffs to remain in effect. So everything I said does not apply anymore. The United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit in Washington said it was pausing the lower court's ruling to consider the government's appeal and ordered the plaintiffs in the case to respond by June 5th and the administration by June 9th. A federal appeals court temporarily reinstated the most sweeping. I wonder if the markets are reacting. Let's see. I just typed Dow now, and I should see an update. Fuck, I don't know. Is today a holiday? I don't think so. All right, so there you go. That's happening right now as we speak. A couple of you have sent this story along. After story about me finding the incredibly overrated morel mushrooms when I was at Fear Bunker North. As we say hello to Megan, who is greeting our beloved Darla. Markets open at 9:30. That's right. I'm early on Fridays. That's why it. So like they just opened now. Okay. So it's only seconds into it, as it is right now, 9:30 a.m. Thank you. This is the type of the Darla has gone through, before I get into the story, is she's becoming an adult dog. You see how calm she is? Typically, that's just morning time when she's like that. But she's starting to do that more often, where she's just relaxing instead of losing her mind. And that is like our favorite. There's nothing worse than a jumpy, hyper dog. The three judges that had ruled against Trump were put in place by Reagan, Obama, and Trump. All for naught, as a higher court has reinstated the tariffs. All right. Several of you sent me this story. Two hikers in New York's Adirondack Mountains called 911 to report a third member of their party had died. However, they're looking at him and they're like, he's dead. Let's call. They had taken hallucinogenic mushrooms. They consumed the mushrooms. And two of the two guys thought that guy number 3 was dead. No, I've never hallucinated in my life. But that sounds like something that would frighten me. A state forest ranger responded to a call Saturday about a hiker who had died on Cascade Mountain, a popular summit in the Adirondack High Peaks. The two hikers who called 911 had also told a steward on the mountain's summit that they were lost. So, the Park Service sends a guy up there to, answer questions and shit. Hey, we're lost. The steward that the hiker had determined that the hikers were in an altered mental state. The supposedly dead person called and was not injured. So wait a minute. I think that there were only two, but they called and said there was a third that was dead. I think. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. The ranger escorted the two hikers down to an ambulance, which took them to a hospital. Okay, there was a third. And brought the third to the group's campsite where they all later met up, officials said. Yeah, that's... Yeah, so basically the two guys were whacked out on mushrooms. So the Park Service steward had to basically babysit these two assholes and get them to an ambulance because of the hallucinogenic mushrooms that they took. I think those are still illegal in Michigan. What the fuck is going on? I don't know what that is. I've been chasing you around, chasing you around. I just wish it wasn't happening. Right okay. I thought I was hallucinating right there. Amanda says soulful is what that is. By the way, I never did. Amanda had sent it late, a day late on the Fat-a-thon. She's despondent because she had a increase in weight. Very, very frustrated. I'm sorry that happened. I would love to just sit there and tell you to refocus, but that's all. I mean, you know that. You know what you got to do. Rebecca says that means that I won the star on the blubber. Yeah, you did. You did do that. As Rebecca and Jeremy, they've been pretty quiet so far in this show right now. These two are going to spend some time again this week. Is it confirmed or not confirmed, or are you just holding out and you'll inform me later that you will or will not be at the soccer match on Saturday? I know that was debated as these two continue to figure out if they like each other. I actually think that they really do like each other, and their sensibilities line up. Jeremy says soccer match depends on how late dinner with Rebecca's family goes. Well, yeah, now that's new information. Rebecca says Jeremy gets to meet my parents on Saturday. Okay. So I think that, and with Jeremy, he adds, I'm meeting her folks Saturday, and she's meeting my mom on Sunday, Mrs. Feach. Okay, so that's a big deal. I think that if you are seeing someone, and then you get to the point where you're introducing them to your parents, I think you're, getting to a point where you can say you're like official, I think. When you're official, then you're in a committed relationship at that point. I don't know anything about either of you. if you've ever been in these types of relationships before. I'm sure that that's something you probably discuss on a personal level with with the person that you're seeing. You know, your history, what life has been like for you. I mean, I can only guess because it's been, let's see. Like I said yesterday, Diana and I started dating in the late 80s. So that's how many decades? Parts of how many decades? 80s, 90s, early 2000s, early 210, or all of the 210s, all of the first 2000s. You get what I'm saying, don't you? So 80s, 90s, aughts, 10s. We're in our 5th decade together. God, that's incredible. Chris says, oh, shit, this is getting serious. Stevie says, uh-oh, meeting the parents now. Rebecca says, many conversations have been had. That's good. That is good. Very, very good. I sound like Trump. Jeremy says, all I do now is talk about life with Becky. You know, it's always murky to me, but in my head, how did this start? It started in a setting just like this, but I don't think there had been any, connection. Was it just comments that I made? Were we at a point where I was just brainstorming possibilities, and then you two started flirting, and the next thing you know, there was a conversation where, hey, maybe we should hang out. Did it? Because in my mind, that's how it went. I was kind of like playfully matchmaking you, and then you kind of like ran with it. Is that a fair descriptor of what happened? Rebecca says, we were trash talking in the chat. He said something about sliding into my DMs, and I said, go for it. Okay, that makes more sense. I made a crack about women being worse than men at losing weight. Then Tophus chimed in that it sounded like flirting. You ran with it. Then I DM'd her. Okay. So that would mean that if this ever got to a point where you got married, Tophus would have to be your best man. That would mean that Tophus had a hand in this. I love this, by the way. Makes me very, very happy for the both of you. Amanda says you have to quit jinxing it. What is the jinx? Is the jinx... So the way a jinx to me is like if it's like 1-1 with, or a 2-1, the Griffins are leading the hockey game, and I say, they got it, 1. And then once you say that, then they give up 2 goals and lose. Amanda says talking about marriage, jumping ahead of it. Oh, okay. But that's just, okay, I see what you're saying. So if I say, if this ever does get, yeah, but even if I'm saying if it does, I mean, I'm not saying they are going to. I said if it ever gets to that point. So I don't know if that qualifies as true jinx. I think for it to be a jinx, you have to say they are getting married. So I don't know. I don't know if that's quite in the jinx realm. Besides, I don't believe in that hocus pocus. Amanda says, I don't know. It puts too much pressure on it, and then people can get scared. Yeah, I don't know. With these two in particular, they seem to be much less feeble-minded than you. So, yeah, I don't I think that if you're stupid like you are, that then it applies. But I don't think that they're dumb. So since you are, I can see why you would think that this is stupid. All right, why you would think that this is a jinx. So only a moron would think that hocus pocus can actually affect the relationship. That's what I mean about stupid. And I mean, come on now. You've admitted to us many, many times about how dumb you are. Jeremy says, we feel no pressure at all. We're doing our thing and enjoying our time together. Yeah, so basically, Jeremy is politely saying, shut up. That's what he's doing. Now, I am not nearly as polite. The whole planet knows how dense you are. So there you go. Don't worry about it. Good God. Everybody enjoys this. And then you got to fucking put a fucking wet hot pocket on it. Holy shit. Knock it off. God damn. Superstar Sydney Sweeney is selling soap made with drops of her own bathwater. I'm not going to play the audio from this because I'll get a Facebook ticket or YouTube ticket or Twitch ticket or whatever the fuck. Rebecca says, Amanda, you don't need to shut up. I can see your point. I'm just saying I don't feel any of the pressure or like it's a jinx. Okay, well, I was only kidding, so don't worry. Amanda deserves ball busting on the regular. This is Sydney Sweeney. I don't know what else she's been in, but she's in this Rolling Stones video for the song Angry. And in it, she's in the back of a Mercedes with the top down. And she's singing and dancing. And just lovely. Wearing some very revealing clothing as she rides around Hollywood. She is marketing a new product. It is bath soap. And you can buy Sydney Sweeney bathwater bath soap made with drops of her own bathwater. She's partnered with Dr. Squatch Soap. Quote, when your fans start asking for your bathwater, you can either ignore it or turn it into a bar of Dr. Squatch soap. I say, why stop there? Because you know this is going to sell out quickly. Sydney's bathwater bliss soap. So she takes a bath, and then they take the water. Now, God knows if it really is her bathwater. I highly doubt it. I mean, I don't think she would have gotten into the tub and then they drain it and keep the water or whatever the hell and make the soap. But for the sick bastards who love this woman, the creeps, the people who are going to buy this are, you can picture like the LARPers or the losers or Freeburn and Hot Wing Show audience members, those types of former Zaniacs. That type of soul would spend their hard-earned money on something like this. But so that'll sell, and then she should release like the next line, which is made from her urine. that would be a big hit too. You can cut off locks of her hair and put it into the soap. You could actually, as the soap is being blended in the big mixer, have her hike her ass over it and take a big dump in there. Chris says Tophus pre-ordered a case of it. Basement dwellers. But the idea of Sydney Sweeney wearing the same getup that she did in that video, dangling her ass over the soap vat and pushing out a hot squash in order to sell the soap to losers everywhere, is ridiculous. Alan says it's going to be funny to see how many people die from eating this soap. Amanda says she could always do a Gwyneth Paltrow and make a candle smell like her vagina, which I was just reading that she didn't have anything to do with that. It's like, well, how could it not? What do you mean you didn't have anything to do with it? Are you telling me all of a sudden there's just a candle that says, hey, this smells like my Gwyneth's vagina, and you had no say in it? Jeremy says Sydney Sweeney's feces facial cleanse. If I had a bar of this soap in front of me, I'm not going to lie to you. I definitely smell it. And it's just going to smell like soap. It's not going to. In fact, if there was any product that claimed that Sydney, I mean, it could say Steve Martin's fecal blast soap, and I would still smell it. It's just curiosity. You put anyone's name on it, and you're going to be interested in that. That is a great way to market anything. The Emmy-nominated actor and Hollywood heartthrob is promoting a new soap that's made with a quote-unquote touch of water that Sydney Sweeney took a bath in. 1 year after a bathing Sweeney appeared in a Dr. Squatch body wash promotion, the two have now collaborated to launch this product. This is a very real, very limited edition soap made with my actual bath water, says Sydney. It will go on sale June 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time for $8 a bar. Only 5,000 bars of the soap will be made with Dr. Squatch awarding 100 bars to lucky bathers via a giveaway on its Instagram and website between May 29th and June 5th. The medium grit soap is made from pine bark extract, exfoliating sand, and droplets of the Euphoria's Stars bathwater. The scent, in a nod to Sweeney's Pacific Northwest roots, combines pine, Douglas fir, and earthy moss, and perhaps a trace of Sweeney herself. She says, it's weird in the best way, and I love that we created something that's not just unforgettable. It actually smells incredible and delivers like every other Dr. Squatch product I love. Yeah, boy, I cannot imagine. I wish that in order to buy it, you had to show a picture of yourself. I just want to see what these losers look like. So this is just a marketing thing because you only stand to make $40,000. Like if you sell it for $8, I'm sure most of that is profit. It probably only costs a handful of cents to actually make this stuff. That's only $40,000 worth of soap after people have paid for it. So it's more like they're getting the mileage out of the marketing. You know, people may not buy this soap, but they'll buy other soap from this company. And I've heard it's great soap. I like their ads, too. There's no playbook for turning Sydney Sweeney's actual bathwater into a bar of soap, said so-and-so marketing director. But that's what we did. The bar is bizarre, unexpected, and meant to get guys thinking more deeply about what they're putting on their bodies. All right. I find this embarrassing. Like if you're dating a guy, like let's say Rebecca, she goes into Jeremy's bathroom and he's got a bar of Sydney Sweeney's bathwater bliss. I think there's going to be some questions there. I think there's going to be a conversation that might actually take place about this. Amanda hasn't seen her before. Amy says she's in the HBO show Euphoria, and she's been in some movies, most recently on White Lotus. I only know her from the Rolling Stones video. Nick says they do make great soap. They have the best deodorants. So Nick is going to buy the Sydney Sweeney bathwater bliss. Now, I don't ever go out of my way to buy these types of products like this. Amanda says, I'd rather buy the Jake Paul body wash. I don't even know. Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't ever, it's one thing for me. Irish Spring. Whatever's on sale at Costco. I don't think too hard about soap. That's one thing that I don't ever focus on. Alan is talking about Sydney Sweeney's boobs. He says she's got huge cans. Well, okay. That is true. She does have large boobies. I'm sure she's very proud of those. She displays them quite prominently in the Rolling Stones video. By the way, the Rolling Stones got all sorts of grief for this video. Now, they didn't make it, and all they did was used old footage of the Rolling Stones and then shot this chick, who's the hot chick, popularity-wise, for this video, and just had her writhing around in the damn thing and then put it together. Now, if you actually had the Rolling Stones in their, current form, like rolling around with Sydney Sweeney, then that's horrible. That would be just like Linda when she was dating that old dude, that 80-something-year-old guy back in the day. A hideous, hideous moment. By the way, the song is great. I love the song "Angry" by the Rolling Stones. You can. I'll link it up in the show notes if you want to watch it for yourself. Miss Sweeney in all of her glory, and people were like, "Oh my God, the Rolling! This is terrible." Because nowadays, if you're in this type of video where a chick is writhing around in revealing clothing, a lot of Gen Zers and millennials, they get offended at that. They don't like that at all. They say that is objectifying women, and we now have trauma because we have seen that. And Sydney said, "Fuck off. I loved it. I find it to be fantastic when I can use my assets to make people go gaga. I like that. So leave me the fuck alone." They were making it seem like Sydney Sweeney was being trafficked and held against her will. She's like, "I picked out the clothing. We had some of the best boutiques in Hollywood to choose from for what we wanted to wear. And I went there and got the attire myself. And I said, this is what I want to wear. when I'm in this video that you're paying me $1 million for? And they said, all right, it's up to you. You do whatever you want. And then they said, do you need any direction on what we want you to do? And she said, I don't think so. Just play the song, and I'll dance to it as we ride around Hollywood. Okay, sounds good. And that was it. And then you see the usual suspects say, this is male masculine toxicity. This is terrible. This is what's wrong with men. Disgusting men are doing this to her. We got to protect her. She's like, shut the fuck up. I'm making a soap with my bathwater, you dumb bitch. Amanda says the only people that said that are people that are motivated, that aren't motivated to look like her. Exactly, Amanda. Now you're on the right path. Now you're thinking with your old noggin. Ugly people said that. Disgusting people made those comments. Seeing Sydney Sweeney in the back of that car makes me like, I'm going to go out there and run a couple miles, God damn it. When you see somebody who is that together and comfortable with themselves and saying, hey, look at me, I got it, bitches. You're like, fuck yeah. That's like your team winning the Super Bowl when you see somebody that comfortable. We need to get back to that. More TNA. I want to see more cock, more muscles, more titties, and more ass. Make America titty again. Mata. Yeah, these moments are what make the world spin. David says Gen Z and the millennials are soft in the head. Well, I don't know. The thing about that is, because yes, that's true, but I kind of think that Generation X did that to them. I think that I am largely responsible. When I say I mean Generation X. Because we were the last generation that got the shit beat out of us. Now, make no mistake. I used to chase the kids around and swing for the fucking fences. So I can't say that I'm to blame because I did a lot of ass kicking on my kids, when they were growing up. Bob says, I am technically a millennial, but I'm an elder millennial and don't behave like that. Well, I think that just a handful of millennials and a little bit larger of a handful of Gen Z are the ones that wreck it when they use words like trauma. I have a family member who is a boomer. Well, wait a minute. What year are the boomers? What years are the boomers? Okay. No. My family member is also Gen X. And throws around the word trauma. Oh, well, you had trauma. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? What? No, I don't have any trauma. If I did, I got over it. I am not one to be affected by shit in the past. I forget it. I take it in stride. It fades like a fart in the wind, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm busy. I don't have time to worry about trauma. I think that sometimes people get a little too wound up in dwelling on the things, the fucked up shit that happened to them in the days, weeks, months, years previously. I think that they hang on to that stuff too long. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.